Hey guys, it's Bishozzy here, and welcome to episode 26 of the Berlin Dynamo series. Today's episode, as you can tell, we're actually out of the relegation zone. The title is true at the moment. I say at the moment, we're tied on 12 points. We do have a game in hand, so theoretically, no team can actually jump above us as of this first game against Grua Firth. It is against them, who are currently in last place. They also have a game in hand. So if they beat us today, they'll go up to 11 points alongside Osnabrück. We find ourselves on 12, like I said, with Hansa Rostock. So at the moment, we sit pretty. I'll go over I have to go over recent transfers really quickly because I'm currently offering this bloke a deal. So we got Matthias Romero, just a decent right back. He's not the most physically gifted player in the world, but he's really solid defensively. He's got really good teamwork and positioning as well, which I think is just a credit to him. 3.5-star current ability on him as well. He was released from his Argentinian club. As you can see, played really well for them in his final season before leaving with a 7.35. So I like the look of him. Again, we technically don't actually have our own right back. We've got Zogovic on loan. Very similar type of player. But he's only on loan. So getting him in, 21-year-old, a little bit of potential on him still. Theoretically, he's already got a better squad rating, or rating by our scouts, as better than Zogovic, which is interesting because he's got worse pace. So I don't really understand that. But yeah, he's coming in. He looks pretty good. I'm happy to have him as the backup. That's the only real bit of sort of transfer activity. We're going to the league table real quick here. Just to show you guys in a bit more depth, I'll move the camera down the bottom as well. As you can see there, Darmstadt currently up top with 2 points, although Magdeburg, they're currently on 26 points. So theoretically, they could also go level on top with Darmstadt. Everyone else, I mean, up till about 7th is all sort of in the running for promotion. Anyone sort of below maybe Hamburg, I would say doesn't really have a chance. And Hamburg are on 21 points. So it's 8 points difference. I don't think, teams can make up that much of a difference. Anyway, let me bring the camera back up. And another thing I want to show you real quick, we're going to league table here, is the prize money. So this is the reason, or this is going to be the eventual reason as to how we managed to get out of our debt. Now, this is the biggest reason as to why I wanted to not only make sure that we got promoted for our 3 seasons that we had in 3 Liga, but we need to stay up because we need to get at least this type of money for 2 seasons in a row if we want to develop the club. If you want to increase the training facilities, start spending transfer budgets, bringing in some of the, I guess, lesser known, maybe even South American sort of new gen players that are going to pop up in sort of Colombia, Uruguay, Peru, those sort of cheaper South American new gens that'll come in, that'll be incredibly not only integral and quality for our team, but eventually we'll either stay with us or we'll be able to sell on for a big profit. Like I said early on, I want to have a big focus on youth. It's pretty much the way I play Football Manager. I always like to have new gens that come in, not only new gens, but just young players in general, whether they be real life players as well. Come in, develop, either stick around the first team because they're good enough or they're sold on for profit, and then sort of rinse and repeat and go through cycles, which is definitely what we're going to need to do if we want to win the Champions League at some stage. So yeah, there's the prize money. If we finish 15th and above, we're probably getting about nearly 8 million, I would say. So if we do avoid that relegation playoff, we can expect to get about 8 mil. So that'll essentially break us even for the season if we once again look at the projection. It's looking pretty bad at the moment, but once we get all that money in, it's going to start to look pretty good. As you can see, the projection there, over the course of the next 3 years, you know, we're going to find ourselves in a profit, which is massively important. Anyway, today's game, Grua Firth. They're a team we need to be beating, so theoretically we're going to hopefully come out strong, especially being the home team as well. Lineup, we've got Bredlow in goals. I mean, the back line hasn't changed. Zogovic, we've got Ivanovic, Naranjo, the Spanish centre back, Prevel, who's still being pretty underwhelming. He's got really bad natural fitness, so theoretically he can only really play once a week. Anything more than that, and he, as you can see, doesn't really. I mean, he's tired essentially going into this match, which is not good. Midfielders going to go with Cantillo there, Pajovic as well, Jublovic in attacking mid. He has probably turned our season around at the moment. I'll go into the fixtures before we get into this game, but I just want to give him a shout out. He's got 7 goals at the moment, and his last 5 games have been absolutely incredible. Hendricks will be on the left wing, Sunsup Bell will be on the right wing, and Ade, the Spanish striker, he's been improving. He's actually got a really good value to him as well, which is good, and theoretically Spanish clubs might be interested in him, so I like that. He hasn't started yet, so I'm going to give him the start today, purely for the fact that we got suspensions, we got injuries as well. Richardson going to be out for another week, and then Lacey was suspended last game. And I'll show you the recent fixtures. Of course, the previous episode was the win against Rostock, our first win of the season. Then a disappointing defeat to Regensburg. We did follow that one up with a 1-0 loss, unfortunately, against Nuremberg. As you can see, we just got dominated. We got dominated, had 1 shot on target the whole game. They had 6, scored a goal, 1-0 victory there for Nuremberg, and we moved on. We actually had 2 weeks off. So I played a few friendly games. We versed Dynamo Dresden's reserve squad, beat them 2-1, lost 3-1 to Dortmund, but we actually made about 60,000 on that friendly, so that was important. And then I went against the local teams, another Berlin team, and we did manage to beat them 7-0. And I wanted to do that just to build up a little bit of squad harmony going back into the St. Pauli game. It kind of worked. We had a 4-4 draw, so we got a result. A little bit annoying, as you can see. We were 2-0 up. Ivanovic opened the scoring. Jublovic getting us a second. They got one back. Richardson then got us a 3rd goal. They got one back through Jackson Irvine, the Australian. They then got another goal to make it 3-3. They then missed a penalty as well to make it 4-3 in their way. Richardson then got a 2nd goal for himself. And then they got an equaliser in the 51st minute. We did have an injury to Bredlow. I brought Krolo, the young Croatian goalkeeper, in. Thought I'd give him a try, and he conceded 4 goals and still managed. I think he was at a 6.5 prior to that penalty save. So he was pretty dreadful. Saved the penalty, got a 7.3, and he hasn't played since. So there you go. We then lost 2-1 to current league leaders Darmstadt. It was a good game for them. As you can see, Jublovic opened the scoring for us. They got one back through Cruz. And then, yeah, we gave away I think it was actually Jublovic that gave away a penalty in the 82nd minute and gave them all 3 points. Pretty disappointing. But we did bounce back against Osnabrück. 3-1 victory here at home. Very impressive result. Again, Jublovic opened the scoring, got himself a penalty just before half-time. And then at the start of the second half, we got a 3rd goal through Richardson. And managed to get all 3 points. Our 2nd win there of the season. And we followed that with back-to-back wins as well. This one coming against Magdeburg, who were actually top of the league at this point. As you can see, we probably didn't deserve to get a victory here. In fact, we definitely didn't deserve to get a win. Lacey got himself sent off in the 67th minute. They already were 1-0 up as they had a penalty in the 3rd minute. Jublovic getting himself a goal in the 82nd minute. And then I've got to show you this goal from Cantillo coming off the bench to replace Smet. And the ball-winning midfielder, the defensive midfielder, coming up with an absolutely brilliant goal for himself here. Just absolutely running straight through their defense and then bang. What an angle to score as well. And he puts it in the back of the net in the 94th minute to give us all 3 points there. Big win. All right, so they're the fixtures. Let's get into today's game. Looking forward to it. I mean, Grua, they're sort of a team similar to us at the moment. I want to pile on the pressure. I'm going to tell the boys I expect the home victory, to be honest. We're the home team. Still playing out of Magdeburg's home ground, which is interesting in itself. It is 28,000 capacity, though, so hopefully we can build up a few more fans this season. All right, Prevel to Naranjo. Back to Prevel. Good little ball. Jublovic. I don't know what's happened to him. I don't know what's happened to him. He has become an absolute world beater for us. I wasn't even going to start playing him this season. He was on the bench. And somehow he's come in and he's playing better in 2 Bundesliga than he did in 3 Liga. So I don't understand that. Anyway, I'm not complaining. I absolutely love it. Sunset Bell, good goal there for him as well. And we're 2-0 up in 14 minutes. Sunset Bell, he's actually a really good player because he's so versatile. He can play on the right, he can play on the left, and then he can play up top as well. And he has sort of played all those positions as well. Played a lot on the right with injuries and stuff like that. Suspension, of course, today. And he's just doing really well. Just very, very impressive. And he was one of those signings that I made. It was a bit of a big gamble as Bredlow makes a really good save there. He's on like 6.25k a week, which is a lot of our wage budget. I mean, it's pretty much 10% on one player. I know it's an important position. I'm sort of expecting maybe to get some offers for him at the end of this season. I feel like some championship clubs might be tempted to give us a little bit of money. And honestly, I'm pretty tempted to take it. Just based on the fact that I've been finding these sort of new gen players a day down here. He's one of them. He's very, very similar, albeit he's sort of one-dimensional. He can only play as the striker. But yeah, I don't know. He's pretty much of the same level of quality. And if I can find more players like a day, Sunset Bell, and we could probably fetch between 5 and 10 million for him. And I'm not even exaggerating. Anyway, let's pause it here real quick. We'll bring Sunset Bell off for Mbala. I think that's the only change I'm going to make, actually. We'll get Mbala on there. He's got the pace. He doesn't have the finishing, which is unfortunate. But he's got the pace. You've got Hendricks on the other side, who doesn't have the pace, but definitely has much better attacking attributes, and he does have the finishing. Good. Zogovic. Can he get a cross in? Yes, he can. It's pretty terrible. Pajovic. Oh, that's a curling effort. That I thought was going to sneak in. We are playing well, except for a day. A day's on a 6-5. Prevel bringing it forward. Jublovic can't get there, but does win it back. This is what I'm talking. He's an absolute beast at the moment. Mbala using his pace. He's got the pace. He just, like I said, doesn't have that finishing. I figured he would get into a lot of good positions. I just don't know if he'll be able to score them. That's the only downside with Mbala. You know, regardless, he's only a backup player anyway, so Not terribly fast as Ivanovic gets the loose ball, blasts it back in the middle, and it looks like Drua are going to counter-attack. We've got 2 players in the middle. We're not marking very well either. Yeah, that's a good block there. Mbala's actually taken a knock. We've only got a few minutes left to go anyway, so I think I'll leave him out there. And there we go. That's 3 wins in a row. And this is a much-needed win over a relegation sort of rival in Grua Firth. So, yeah, they stay bottom, and we actually move into 14th place with a 0 goal difference as well. Very nice. We're on 15 points. We're actually 3 clear of Rostock, which is very, very good news. And if we can put together a few more wins, we might actually get ourselves well into mid-table and, create some sort of distance between ourselves and the relegation zone. Anyway, I'm going to skip forward the 2 weeks and I'll join you back for the lineup against Hamburg. All right, so let's get into the lineup. Nothing to really mention, except for the fact that Susek kicked up stink about going out on loan. Said I didn't want to send him out on loan. Probably should have just accepted it because I don't really care about him. I really messed up offering him a new 3-year contract at the end of last season. That was so silly of me. He's on 3.3k per week as well. Definitely going to try and sell him in January. However, I rejected it. Players then came to me. Some of them said, you're losing the dressing room. So I'm a little bit nervous about that. I might still try and get Susek out of the club, whether it be on loan or permanent transfer. He's one of the leaders in the squad, so that's sort of the reason why that happened. Anyway, just thought I'd mention that. Going into this game, I had a bit of a dilemma. Because obviously Lacey, he played absolutely terrible in that previous game that he got sent off just before this episode. But I'm going to bring him in because he is probably the strongest option we have on that right-hand side. Obviously, Jublovic cannot be taken out of the squad at the moment. He's that good, literally pulling all the strings in the team. So what I've done is I've put Richardson as the left winger because he's obviously good enough. He should be playing every game. Sunset Bell's gone back up top into the striker position. And then I've also brought in Rajic. I feel like Pajovic, I really do like him. I like the Bosnian. I think he's a great player for us. Just don't think he's playing all too well at the moment. Rajic, he's not too much better either. But at this point, I think we'll stick with him for this game. And the only other change is Meyer has come in at left back whereas Prevel is out suspended. So quite a few changes in there. I want to see Lacey with a big game. He's not match fit. Neither is Felix Meyer. So it's going to be a little bit of a... I mean, in saying that, I could probably play the new Argentinian right back. Play Zogovic on the left. Let's do that, actually. Zogovic will go on the left. Romero is going to come in for his debut. I like that. All right, so let's get into the game. Yeah, like I said, there's a few players out there that are not match fit, which isn't great. I'll give him 18, why not? Romero, the fullback, or wingback, I should say. He's more of a fullback, but he's going to learn. He's going to learn how to play fullback. Anyway, Hamburg, HSV. Not going to go with the massive team talk here today. We're just going to get straight into it. Hopefully the boys can go out there and put in a good shift. It's going to be a tough game. They've got some really good players. They've already opened the scoring, but it might be ruled out. Might have been a foul, potentially. It's awarded. It's awarded. 4th minute. probably not the best time to concede if we actually want to play well in this game. I mean, they got players like Paredes, they got Brian Brobby. They've got some real quality. Anyway, we're a good side. What is Jublovic doing? That ball he was literally on top of the ball and he walked past it. I don't know. Anyway, some weird stuff happens. Luckily for us, I thought that was the second goal there. They're still coming forward though. God. It's going to be a corner for Hamburg. I think every single player is on a 6-6 for us at the moment. Another corner. And we should be able to clear our lines here. We get it away, although it's going to come back. At least the ball's in the halfway line, though. Oh, we've managed to snag a nice interception there, although we've given the ball away straight away. And, yeah, Hamburg, they're going to be battering us all game. And that's Brian Brobby. I mentioned him before. He's a good player. I think I had him back on FM24 for my, I think it was a Wrexham. I had a Wrexham save. I also had another save. I can't remember who it was with. I think it was Wrexham. And I think it was actually the Dublin Dons, which is a created team. Irish team. Sort of like a, I don't know, not theoretical, would be the right word. It's like a created database where the Dublin Dons were created in place of Wimbledon, the Dons. Which was it was a real thing that was proposed back in the day. As Hamburg have a third goal in the 14th minute. Alright, not great. Richardson's picked up a knock. We're just going to bring Hendricks on. And, I don't know. This game's... It's already out. We're 3-0 down. Bredlow's on a 6.3. Rajic. It's going to get a cross in. Hendricks. Straight over the bar. Yeah, not good enough. Can't even get a shot on target at the moment. Although we do have possession now. I feel like Hamburg are really pressuring our players. They seem to be pressing us a lot. And our players aren't the smartest or have the best composure. So I feel like they're going to be prone to making errors. Although we are passing the ball pretty nicely at the moment. As Rajic goes to Hendricks on this left-hand side. Good ball to Jublovic, the danger man. Inside to Hendricks. It's a good little cross. Might be offside for Sunsip Bell. It did put it in the back of the net. But he might have just straight offside. It might have been level. He was level. Good stuff. All right, we got a goal back. Thank God for that one. All right. I mean, we've started so poorly. We are coming forward, though. Hendricks, since he's come on, he's actually looked pretty dangerous. Ooh. Almost a nasty deflection there for Hamburg. We've got a corner. Jublovic. Not a terrible corner. That's going to be a throw-in for us as well. I mean, conceded 3 goals from 3 shots on target. That's pretty terrible. I mean, they've conceded 1 from 1. Well, they did as well anyway. So, not terrible. We're also playing with Romero on debut, who doesn't look too good either. Maybe I should have played Meyer and just taken the hit with him. I'm going to encourage everyone. Hopefully, get everyone. Yeah, everyone will go green as a result of that. And we might think about some substitutes here as well. See, Rajic right there. He should have brought the ball down, and then we would have been in possession. And instead, Hamburg are in behind, almost get a goal out of that as well. That's terrible. What are we doing? What are we doing? Silly possession. We're literally passing to the other team. We're given hospital passes. And now Hamburg are on the attack again. It's well defended there by Ivanovic. Robbie's big and strong. He's got a lot of pace. But it's going to be offside, but that they have put it in the back of the net. I think that one's offside. Yeah, it is indeed offside. All right, let's make a sub here because we're not playing too well. We're gonna go for Smet for Cantillo, who's played pretty dreadfully today. Then maybe Gudra for Jublovic, but then Jublovic has been so good all season. Let's do this. Let's go Lacey off for a day. A day will go up top, and then Sunsip Bell will drop on the right. I think that's the right move. Sunsip Bell has scored quite a few goals now from that right inside forward position. A day is probably not the greatest to have up top because he hasn't found the back of the net yet, but come on, man. What are we doing? Who was that? Zogovic. Just running with the ball into a player's feet, essentially. It's just terrible. We're looking like we don't want to get a result here today. That's the vibe I'm getting. Gotta be kidding me. Absolutely terrible. Naranjo with an own goal, puts it in the back of his own net. So disappointing. Jublovic. What are we doing? We've just scored an absolute screamer. (4-2). I mean, the defense today, absolute shambles. I mean, Bredlow's been pretty terrible himself. Jublovic coming forward. Apologies for being so quiet there. There was some loud sirens going past. I mean, if they get a cross here, it's probably yeah. That might be offside as well. I don't think it is. I think that's goal number 5. We conceded 5 goals today. I can't tell you how pissed off that makes me. 5 goals conceded from 6 on target. I almost want to get aggressive with them. Throw something at someone. That is dreadful. Dreadful performance. Romero, absolutely terrible debut. I mentioned Robbie at the start of the game. He gets man of the match, 2 goals as well. I mean, Romeo, if that's the performance he's going to put out, he may as well find himself a nice spot on that bench, because that was absolutely woeful. Anyway, we had a good win against Grua. That got us, above where we sat at the start of the episode. So we've made a little bit of progress. We'll take that for what it is. Try and forget the last game. We're versing Werder Bremen. Probably a more tough game than the Hamburg one. They're a good side. And going forward, we're sort of about to approach the winter break. So I'll get a few more friendlies in. We'll try and build up a little bit more, player confidence and get the morale up to decent levels. And we shall go from there, really. And we'll continue to plug along and try and make sure we avoid relegation for this season. If you can smash a like, it'd be much appreciated, guys. Subscribe to the channel as well if you haven't. Hit the notification bell, you'll be notified with the episodes coming out every other day. And apart from that, as always, take it easy and goodbye.